Here we will see the next part of female reproductive system is the accessory gland, vestibular gland, or it is also called as Bartholin gland. This gland is present on either side of vaginal opening on vestibule. This is the vestibule depression. On anterior side there is a urethral opening and below there is a vaginal opening. On either side of vaginal opening in the skin of vestibule present a Bartholin gland, or it is also called as vestibular gland. It secretes mucus which act as a lubricating fluid. This gland is homologous to Cooper's gland or bulbourethral gland of male, because in male it also secretes mucus. The next is the mammary gland. Mammary gland is an accessory organ of female reproductive system. It is for production of milk and release of milk after childbirth or parturition. The growth of this breast or mammary gland influenced by two hormones during puberty is the estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen and progesterone both are secreted by ovary. These two hormones influence the growth of this mammary gland. Then during the pregnancy, there is another hormone called as prolactin or lactotropic hormone, which influence the growth of lactiferous tubule in the mammary gland during pregnancy. As well as there is another hormone which is secreted from pituitary gland called as oxytocin, which is called as milk ejecting hormone. It helps for ejection of milk. Means number of hormones act on the mammary gland. Where it is present, this rounded bulging structure present on anterior side of thorax on pectoral region from second ribs to sixth rib. From second rib to sixth rib, this is present on pectoral region on anterior side of thorax. And what is the function? Production of milk and release of milk. It is modified sweat gland and it is present in subcutaneous tissue of breast or chest. It have fatty tissue and lactiferous tubules. This mammary gland consists of this dotted portion is nothing but the fat, and these large structures are called as lobules or lactiferous ducts. These lactiferous ducts and fats form the breast. Here mammary gland consists of near about 15 to 20 mammary lobes. This irregular shaped mammary lobes, there are 15 to 20 in number. Here we see the one mammary lobe. This I draw only few alveoli, this grape-like structure. This alveoli are number of like a grape bunch-like structure. This mammary lobe have number of alveoli. This alveoli cells secrete milk. This alveolar glandular cells or glandular epithelium secrete milk which is stored in the lumen of this alveoli. This alveoli then connected to a mammary tubule. This short tube called as this short duct called as mammary tubule. These number of mammary tubule joint to form a mammary duct. And number of mammary duct joint to form a mammary ampulla. This ampulla, mammary ampulla open on nipple by conversion of lactiferous tubule. This ampulla converge into lactiferous tubule which is converge on nipple or open on nipple. Here we will start the next bit, structure and development of ovary. Ovary is a female sex organ. It produces egg and hormones. It is situated in the pelvic region. Its size is 3 into 1.5 into 1 centimeter. It is almond shaped and present in pelvic cavity just below the kidneys. How it is developed? Ovary is a compact structure. It have two regions, outer cortex, this outer region is called as cortex, which is more compact than that of medulla, and it is granular in nature. It have number of follicles, developing follicles, primordial, primary, secondary, and Graafian follicle. Then ovulation, corpus luteum, corpus albicans. Means cortex have number of stages, follicles. And this medulla, which is the inner part, this medulla nothing but the stroma, which consists of blood vessels, lymph vessels, nerves, means all connections to ovary is the medulla. It is also called as stroma. How cortex is formed? Cortex is formed from tiny masses of cells called as ovarian follicles. Small tiny masses. Central cell, which is surrounded by a number of cells. This tiny masses cells called as ovarian follicles. How it is formed? It is formed from immature ova originated from endoderm. When we develop in the mother uterus, there is a gastrulation. There are 3 layers. This one is the endoderm, this is ectoderm, and this one is the mesoderm. From this endoderm, this layer of endoderm, some cells divide mitotically and migrate towards the gonadal ridge. This immature ova, which is formed from the endoderm, migrate towards the gonad. Means when there is a small gonad, small ovary, means when child develop in the mother uterus, the fetus, embryonic development, a small head, small brain, small heart, when developed, this ovary also developed. This immature ova or oogonia, which migrate from this endoderm to the gonad, to the gonadal ridge of gonadal ridge of ovary, and these cells nothing but the oogonia. These oogonia are in the form of cords. These oogonia then grow in size and form the follicles. This oogonia then encircled by the another cells and form the primordial follicles. These tiny masses of follicles called as primordial follicles. The process of oogenesis, how it is takes place and when it is takes place. Oogenesis started from before the birth, during embryonic development in the mother's uterus. When 12-week fetus is formed, there is a fully matured ovary is formed in the baby, female baby. The ovary is formed up to the end of 12 week. Means oogenesis started before the birth. Germinal epithelium. Why germinal epithelium is outside in mature or after the birth, this germinal epithelium present outside the ovary. So no division. Inside it there is a tunica albuginea. This layer is called as tunica albuginea. Outside it is the germinal epithelium. Means germinal epithelium, there is no function after the birth because this germinal epithelium grow, this group of cells of germinal epithelium called as oogonium, which project towards the cortex. When it is present in the embryo, this germinal epithelium divide and these cells migrate into the cortex. And these oogonia are in the form of cords. Small cords are there, and these cords having tiny mass of cells at the tip. This egg tube, these cords are called as egg tubes. These small oogonia which are connected to each other called as egg tube of flagella, and this egg tube flagella at the end have a mass of cells or rounded mass of oogonia. This is called as egg nest. This is called as egg nest. And from this egg nest, primordial ovarian follicle become developed. At the time of birth, before the birth, when it is present in the mother's uterus, there are more than 200 million primordial follicles are formed, but only 1 million follicles remain up to the birth of female baby structured. Then only 40,000 remain up to the puberty. Puberty attain करेपर्यंत female फक्त किती राहतात या 1 million मधले परत 40,000. And this 40,000 when this girl attain the maturity or puberty, then onset of this growth of primordial follicle, then again growth takes place. This primordial follicle develop into Graafian follicle. This destruction, this large scale of destruction, 200 million, then 1 million up to birth, then up to puberty, 40,000. This large cell destruction of follicle called as atresia. This concept is called as atresia.